Hi, so today I am showing you how I did these cute little nails, and of course I'm using the medium almond nail tips, and honestly I need to use a different shape next time because all of my nails are like medium almonds, but whatever. So I drew this little design, and so I decided to go ahead and try it out. So I'm using this cute orange gel, and I cured my first layer, and then I went ahead and applied a second coat to all of the nails for the exception of the ring finger, and this is what it ended up looking like. So for my ring finger I went ahead and used a white. I only did, I believe, one coat of this because it's very thick, and I cured, of course. Alright, so starting off with my thumb, I am going ahead and doing this crescent shape because I want to make a little orange slice on this nail. And I did 2 layers of it just so it looks more juicier, and of course cure, always cure. And now I'm grabbing this darker shade of orange, leaning more onto like a red orange, and just lining only the bottom of the orange slice so it could be the orange peel. And I'm grabbing a very thin liner brush and just applying white, so it's supposed to be like the little membrane of the orange. And I always make sure to cure this just so I don't mess up, but you know, it's optional if you decide to do it. And so I found the little center of the orange slice, and I am just making some triangle shapes, so skinny on the inside and wider on the outside. And so to avoid making these orange slices very sharp and weird, I grabbed a little short liner brush, the one that I was using before, and with the same white I am deciding to round out the bottom of the triangles so it doesn't look so weird. So instead of being triangle shaped, it's more like a teardrop. Alright, and for like in my mind, I feel like rounding out the little triangles would make the orange look, I don't know, better, juicier, you know, more natural. But I cured that, and so I went ahead with the same white, and I am drawing a little bunny, mainly inspired by this picture. I just wanted to make one nail with that little bunny, but then I just decided to do a few more because why not, you know, creativity and practice. So I wanted the bunny to have very chubby cheeks at the bottom, so here I am just trying to even out the little face of the bunny. And of course I'm filling it in with the same white, and I only did 1 coat of this, and I did not cure just in case I messed up or I didn't like the way it looked. But here I am just adding the little ears of the bunny. Now for me personally, I find it very difficult, and I don't know why, making ears, especially on bunnies, to be the same size and same shape. I don't know why, I just forget to pay attention on how I did it the first time to be able to recreate it the second time. But anywho, I cured it and I decided that I didn't like it, so I'm using this building gel that I bought off AliExpress. Now I've never bought from AliExpress before, this was the first time, and I think I just bought this and a few like glitters because I wasn't sure if it was gonna be, you know, like the picture or like good quality. And so I opened this and I ordered it on white, but it's very clear as you can see here, and it was very sticky sometimes. But I rolled it out on this little sticker sheet and I added it on top of the bunny. So for me, I just wanted to make the bunny 3D because I felt like maybe it needed it. So I used the silicone tool to just start shaping and molding the little bunny, following the drawing that I already did underneath it. So it was a little more simple, you could say, compared to like molding it out of nothing. But after curing, it ended up looking like this, and it looks kind of sheer, not the way I wanted it to look like. So I just added some white on top of it and just cured that instead. So then I decided to add some little eyeballs just with a dotting tool, very simple circles. And of course I cured, and I added a little nose for, you know, the bunny to be able to breathe. And after curing all of that, I added some little white dots in the eyes for some highlight, so the bunny looks like it has, you know, a little life. And I wanted to add a little mouth, like cute mouth, but I didn't like how it looked, so I just erased it and left it like that. Now I also wanted to add some details to the nail, so I decided to add some little stars and crosses. um, but I erased some of them because I wanted to add the word yummy here, but I did not fit all of it, so I just wrote yum. And then I added some little white highlights to the nail just so it looks kind of cute, kind of, kawaii and whatnot. Then I grabbed some pink and just added that to the ears, and this is what it ended up looking like. I think it's super cute. And now moving on to the next nail. Now for this nail, I wanted to do some colors very similar to the orange, and I wanted to make like a little bloom or swirl. So I added some blooming gel on top, and then I did not cure, and then I added some white and just tried to do like a little swirl, kind of like the eye of a hurricane, if I'm kind of explaining. And I tried to do it as light as possible so the lines aren't too thick and rigid when I do it. But I wasn't really feeling it when I was doing it, but I was like, you know what, we're gonna go ahead, this is what I drew, and let's see what it looks like. And so I wanted to add some little flowers like here on the picture, just to kind of see what like an orange, the stem of an orange. But I did not like them. It always ended up looking weird, and I just decided to erase all of them and try again. So to make it simpler, I just added another layer of blooming gel, and using the same green color, I just used a dotting tool and just made some little dots from bigger, medium to small, like I'm doing right here at the top and at the bottom of the nail. Pretty cute, pretty cute. And I just added some little small dots in groups of 3 and just kind of scattered them around the nail. And then I just decided to just make a little flower on the center, but not like too big, just keep it kind of small like I'm doing right here. And I cured, and that's it. Alright, now moving on to the third nail. That's the little design that I had in mind, kind of like a vine wrapped around the nail. So I went ahead and I'm using the same green color as I did before and just doing like a squiggly line all around the nail. And I went over it again so it looks thicker and not so, sheer. And so because it's kind of like a vine, I decided to add some little petals and leaves, just kind of like crisscrossing the little green line. And then I went ahead and cured, and I decided to add some little flowers. So I used my dotting tool and made 5 little dots, kind of like how you do a blooming gel flower, blooming flower, is that what it's called? I'm not sure. But I went ahead with that, and I didn't cure, and I grabbed a little small liner brush and just dragged in the little gel to the center so they can all meet in one spot. And trying to make sure that it's thin on the inside and thick on the outside. And after doing all of that, I did it again on another spot, and I'm doing the same thing, same technique. And I cure just in case I mess up. So yeah. And after doing all of that, I added some little white dots on the nail to some kind of look like little dots on an orange. And so I went ahead and did that, and I cured all of it. And of course I cured 60 seconds because this white cures very, very weirdly. Then I grabbed some yellow and just made a little dot on the middle of those little petals so it makes like a little daisy. And yeah, that's what it looked like. Alright, so moving to the ring nail, I decided to use some orange and make some little squiggly lines to make like a little grid. I was going for a grid with straight lines, but I decided to go with this instead to give more like a funky look. Super cute. And I cured, and I was kind of, I didn't have a lot of ideas for this nail, so I decided to add just some dots using the same colors that I used on the other nails. And that's literally it. It's kind of underwhelming. I don't know how I feel about it, but sometimes it happens. So for the last nail, I went back to something that I've done before and I really liked. Actually, it was one of the first videos that I ever made. Honestly, these are the first videos that I'm making still. But it's like an orange slice. You know, it's very popular for like the summer. I know a lot of people have them different colors, limes, oranges, whatever. And so I used a very dark orange to make the outline, aka the peel of the orange. And I added a little dot right on the center of the nail, and then just dragged out some of the gel out to make some lines, making sure that they're not too thick. And I just made a little cross and then divided those sections into two, like a pie, like you're cutting a little pie, and it looks like a star right there. And so I was gonna use this short brush, but I then decided it was a bad idea, so I switched to the longer brush and just added some lines so it could be like the little white membrane of the orange, you know, that little white thing, and just lined the little orange, trying my best not to smudge. And whatever I did smudge, I just went back and cleaned it with a cleaner brush and some alcohol, and that's it. Now I am doing the same thing as I did before with the first nail, and so I'm just making those triangles into teardrops, rounding them out so they don't look too weird. You see right here that it's honestly looking so much better compared to just leaving it like that with triangles. It just adds more detail, and it honestly makes this orange slice look very juicy. I'm not gonna lie to you, like, look at that. It looks, I don't know, I really like doing this now. I thought it was super cute. And then I went ahead and just added some little thin lines on some of the slices of like the little orange, just to add more little detail and dimension. I cured all of that, and then I used my rhinestone glue, and I just grabbed a dotting tool and added a little blob at the thicker side of the orange slices, and then used a short brush to kind of like thin it out and make like a raindrop. But that's just to add more texture to the nail, and honestly it looks super cute. And I cured, obviously, and that's what it ended up looking like. Now it's time for my favorite part, which is the top coat. I always leave this to the end if I can, just so I can do it all together for all of my nails. I just love adding the part. For this nail right here specifically, if you add too much top coat, or if you don't add enough gel for the 3D effect, it's just gonna vanish. But yeah, anywho, so this is what they ended up looking like. Here's a little close-up. Let me know what you think. I think I really like this nail set. Honestly, I'm gonna say that the thumb is my favorite nail. Mainly it's because it's the reason that I wanted to make this at all. But let me know what you think, and yeah, leave a like, subscribe, I don't know, leave a comment, tell me if you like it, yay or nay. And yeah, have a good night, guys.